It's the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 189. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to our podcast. Believe it or not, college hockey season is upon us. The Gopher women's team is ranked third in the nation to start the season and will open at home this week by hosting Boston College. Thursday and Friday games to get the regular season going. And who better to preview the year than head coach Brad Frost, who returns to the Go Gopher Podcast to tell us all about his team and the prognosis for the 2025-26 season. Brad Frost enters his 19th season as head coach. He's in search of his 5th national championship. Our Go Gopher Podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. The Go Gopher Podcast is also presented by onX Maps. Find out how to download the onX Hunt app for free by listening to today's Go Gopher Podcast. We're podcasting episode 189 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We invite you to subscribe to the Go Gopher Podcast. It's free to do so. You can go back and listen to previous Go Gopher Podcast. Last episode, for example, we talked about the Roy Griak Invitational with cross-country coach Sarah Hopkins, and also discussed how an ongoing blood drive not only will help save lives, but also potentially produce a $1 million gift to the U of M. Go back and have a listen to that. This week, we're talking Gopher women's hockey with head coach Brad Frost, who will join me next.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
It's episode number 189 of the Go Gopher Podcast, and we are talking Gopher women's hockey this week. And I was just telling Coach Brad Frost, who is a return guest, and we always appreciate his time, especially on opening week when I'm sure there's a lot of things going, that it never fails to surprise me now. 19 years for you, 20 years for me here, 26 for you in the program, that when mid to late September hits, I'm like, gosh, it's hockey season. And over the weekend, I'm like, we better get Coach Frost on this week so we can preview a year that starts as we record this Wednesday. You're a night away now from opening the year.
Yeah, it's crazy. Every end of, as you mentioned, end of September, hockey starts for women's hockey around the country, and it's it never feels like hockey season because the weather's beautiful outside and fall's starting to kick in. But we're dropping the puck Thursday, Friday here this week at Ritter Arena, and really excited to have Boston College coming in. Yeah,
Thursday, Friday series with football on the weekend pushed up a day early so that you guys get kind of the spotlight. Hopefully a good crowd as well on the season opening series. Gophersports.com for tickets, all of that. Total sidebar as we started this conversation, and maybe we've talked about this before. Do you like the season starting here in September? Would you like to push it back more into the winter? What's your, as a coach, if you can wave a magic wand, how would you like to set the schedule?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I don't necessarily have a strong opinion on it. It's just always been the way it's been, you know, for 25 years. And as we talked about, you're here so long, you just continue. You look at the schedule and you're ready to go when the time comes. But our season is so long already. We start end of September here. We go hopefully till the end of March.
Right.
One of the longest, if not the longest, seasons in college athletics. And so should we, push it more into October, similar to the men, they then go to April. Would we want to do that or need to do that? If all goes well, we play about 40 or 41 games total. And so if we did move it, I think we'd have to lessen our games.
Total games.
And I'm not sure we want to do that either. So I guess I'm answering my question and saying that it's the way it is, and we're okay with it, and excited to get going.
Yeah, I was thinking even a little bit like you'd either have to shrink the number of total games or
sneak in some weekday, like Wednesday night, where Wisconsin would come here or St. Cloud or whatever, but then you're 3 games in 5 days, and that if you do that a lot, that can't be great for player safety and health either, right?
Yeah, and I think the travel is one of the big things about it. But in our league, the WCHA, we play each team 4 times, and so you have 2 at home, 2 on the road, and one of the teams in our league is Ohio State that would have to fly, or they do fly everywhere basically, and but then we've got St. Thomas and Mankato and St. Cloud really close by, so you could do it. And so, anyways, I think it becomes a little messy if you start trying to change some things.
So we've decided we're going to keep it.
Yes, you and I
figured it out. We're going to keep it here to start here in late September. Richard Patino, when he was here, he and his dad had come up with an idea for basketball to start the college men's basketball season in January and turn it from March Madness to May Madness. Cover one semester. You don't compete against the NFL as much on the weekends. You don't compete against football as much. So I suppose that in an alternate universe you could get into the winter if you did it a 1-semester deal, but then you're playing in May,
right?
And then you run into other conflicts, or however you want to say it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's actually not a terrible idea, simply because both us, women's hockey and men's hockey, our Frozen Fours roll around, and we're trying to navigate, the women's Frozen Four, the women's Final Four and men's Final Four in basketball, and charter airplanes are going everywhere, and basketball oftentimes takes priority of those teams getting to where they need to get to. So there is a lot going on in March.
So maybe we haven't solved it. Maybe we have a new solution.
Nope. There's a lot of history there, though.
Maybe Richard Patino had the idea for hockey. Not basketball.
Could always count on Richard.
May Madness right there. Time does fly. We were just joking about it. You're in year 19 as the head coach here, and in year 26 with the program. And it's just general question. How do you feel? Like, you're invigorated? I mean, 19 years is a while. How do you feel as a head coach? Because in today's college athletics, I know it can be a grind. And I talked to Mark Coyle about, he and PJ are the longest tenured. Think about the college athlete, longest tenured in the country. Football and AD, football coach and AD together, 9 years.
Yeah.
With PJ, and then obviously Mark's been here 10. So coaches come and go. So you're starting to become a unicorn kind of to stay at a spot and continue to have success for this long. So generally, how are you feeling about being a head coach?
I feel great. To be able to be the head coach at the University of Minnesota is a huge honor. I'm reinvigorated every single year. This time rolls around, it gets your juices going again. Part of it is I have a great staff with Boom May and Mitch Baker and Jeff Scott. They're just wonderful people. We pull on the rope together, and so and every year in college athletics, one of the reasons I love coaching college is every year is a little different, right? You lose so many players, you bring a bunch of new players in, and now it's trying to get everybody on the same page as quickly as possible so that we can be as successful as possible as we go. And our goal is to give our players the best experience possible while trying to win championships, but developing them as people and hockey players, and hopefully setting them up for the next 40 years of their life.
Do you feel? I feel this just personally too, because this is year 20 for me here, and there are certainly times coming back from a late Wednesday in the middle of December on a Tuesday where we're sitting in the West Lafayette Airport waiting for the jet to get there to take us home. You're like, geez, what are we doing here? It's midnight. But being around young people and a new group every year, and you get to see, it's less now with the portal, but you get to see people come in as 16 or 17, 18, 19-year-olds and leave as 21, 22, 23-year-olds. And it does energize you, doesn't it, as you and I get older on the tree?
100%. I remember when I became the head coach in 07, 08, it was in August. Laura Halderson had resigned and retired late, and Joel Maturi had said, you've got the job for a year and we'll do a national search. Well, this was August. Who was I going to hire as an assistant coach? Laura Slominski was the other assistant coach at the time. I became the head coach, kept Laura on, and we hired Tom Osiki, who's a legend in Minnesota boys and girls hockey down from Burnsville, he actually coached Laura Slominski in high school. Well, he was a 65-year-old man when I hired him. He had retired from coaching, but it was one of the best hires that I had ever made. And he said his line was always, being around young people keeps you young.
Yeah,
and
right.
it's very true. I'm 52. I don't feel it. I still think I'm funny and cool and, well, not cool, but funny. But like all these players are my own kids' age. Yeah. 3 boys. My youngest is now in college down at Grand Canyon University. My other 2 boys have graduated from there and are living down in Phoenix. And so, I feel like as our players have grown up, my kids have grown up around the program too. And that's why I love that our staff and their young kids are around our program as much as possible, because that's what it was for our boys.
Yeah, you think about it, right? They were probably 3, 4, 5 years old when you got the head coaching job, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. We're honoring our 2000 national championship team here on Friday, celebrating 25 years, and our 2016 national championship team and their 10-year anniversary, and so it's fun just continuing to communicate with all the alums. They base how old they are based on my kids, and and they're like, wait a second, they're graduating from college, that must make me significantly older. So it's fun to reminisce about those days when they were babysitting our boys.
Right, everybody's got a point of reference, and your kids are that for some of these
Exactly.
players, right? How much are you able, because it's a busy time always, right? It's a year-round job, obviously. Are you able to keep in touch with a lot of these former players, even if it's maybe a text every now and then, or maybe it's a daily call for some? I don't know. How does that also keep you energized and motivated?
Oh yeah, and it's great, and just hearing our alums' experience that they had here at the University of Minnesota and within our program, like that's when you just feel like you're doing things the right way. When you're getting invited to their weddings and you're seeing a large group of them at a couple weddings here this summer, that's kind of the process, right? It seems like every summer I'm going to about 2 Gopher women's hockey alum weddings and seeing the whole gang, and obviously these different celebrations because of the success that we've had is pretty special.
Well, 4 national titles. I think I have this right. I had to count a couple times. 11 Frozen Fours, right? Does that sound
Could
right?
be. Yep, I'm not sure.
You don't even keep track. I saw that picture of Maya Moore when she went into the Hall of Fame with all the rings. I think you should put one of those together and get Frozen 4 rings, national championship rings, all of that. And you've talked about this. We've talked about it a lot. The pillars with which there is no compromise. This is what you have to be if you're going to be a Gopher women's hockey player. Mm-hmm. How does that continue to go? And with the way the times have changed now, transfer portal, the way maybe student athletes interact with coaches, have any of those, I'm not saying they bend, but do they have some of those pillars changed a little with how things have changed?
It's a great question. And so tough, grateful, disciplined, and devoted are our 4 values. We strive to embody and fulfill those values every day as a staff, as players, and ultimately as a program. And what that looks like naturally for me as a 52-year-old husband and father of 3 is significantly different than it looks like for an 18-year-old, right. Trying to get to class and trying to perform their best for in hockey and be a great daughter and sister and all those teammate and those types of things. So they're different. They're the same, but they're different, if that makes sense. We've also kind of, gone with a little more of a pyramid. So the foundation remains, with our 4 values, but, standards and structure and relationships are right in the center of that pyramid. Compete and focus, and then champions at the top. But I think we've become even more relational as coaches, understanding that is critically important with our players. How they receive information, how they receive coaching is so much different than it was 25 years ago, and it all starts with relationships. If our players know that we care about them no matter what, that we're going to love them, sometimes that means we're going to kick them in the pants, sometimes that means we're going to put our arm around them and say, we got you, we believe in you. The more that they know that we're going to be that for them, the more honest conversations that we can have, the better their experience is going to be. And, again, not perfect, but certainly stuff that we're striving to do.
what is your hunger now? It's been a minute. You've been in national title games. You've won 4 of them. You know what it takes, but it has been a minute. So what is your hunger? What is the key? Wisconsin, Ohio State has kind of had a grip on this here for a few years now. So what is your thought on the Gophers getting back in there? Where and we say cut down the net is a basketball term, but you guys do that too. You cut the goalie net down. At least the last time I saw you guys winning, you did that.
Yeah, we started that actually. I think in the men's. Can't remember, somebody on the men's who won the Frozen Four. They started cutting the net, and I said that's a great idea. So we kind of started that on the women's side, which was fun. But we want to do it again. We're hungry. We think we're primed. We think we're ready. We have continued to stack some good recruiting classes on top of one another. And honestly, as Hugh used to say, or Richard Pitino, I can't remember, but it's hard to win the Derby on a donkey. And
that was Hugh. Yes,
you have to have the horses. We feel like we've got some great ones here, led by one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world, in Abby Murphy, and we're ready. We're very, very hungry. Like you mentioned, it's been 9 years here, and we've been in multiple national championship games, multiple Frozen Fours, and you get to that spot, and it's literally a flip of a coin. It's a goalie save, it's a referee call, it's a post and in or a post and out. Like, there's so many things that have to go right in order for you to win it. Unfortunately, we haven't done that recently, but the goal remains the same. If you're going to come and play for Gopher women's hockey, the goal is that you're winning national championships, and we're hungry to do that.
And it's hard. It's hard to win it all. You have to have some luck. As you say, you have skill. And I was just out of curiosity, I was checking. There was a string in there. Well, Ohio State had never won any until a few years ago. Wisconsin had won a couple, and then they went 8 years without a sniff of a title either. So Duluth the same way. I mean, there's only been 5 since the NCAA took over. There's only been 5 champions.
Yeah, 4 of which are in the WCHA.
In your league.
Right?
So that makes it, it's as tough to win the league sometimes as it is the whole thing. So not that it's cyclical, not that it's an excuse, but it happens, right? Where you hit and it's not a dry spell. You think of even in between championships, all the great moments and the great players. You think of the Taylor Heises and Grace Zumwinkels, who are winning, the pro championships now. So there's a lot of good hockey that was played there.
For sure. Yeah, and you think about how hard it is to win. Like the Heisey, Barine, Zumwinkel days, those guys didn't win a national championship.
Crazy, right?
Frozen Fours, but again, it takes a little something extra. It takes, like you mentioned, a break or a bounce or some luck or whatever it is. And so, it is funny as you look back. Duluth kind of was early on in the 2000s. Then we won in 04 and 05. Then Wisconsin kind of went on a run. Clarkson popped up in there. Then we won 4 and 5 years. And the one that we didn't win in 14, we were in the national championship game. Clarkson wins that one. Then Wisconsin kind of goes on a run. Then Ohio State gets in the mix. And so, it's kind of a little bit of a roller coaster or cyclical or however you want to say it. But we've been right there, and now it's just a matter of getting over the hump.
Yeah, and so how much is your focus on, we're just going to concentrate on the pyramid, which you described, or we're going to concentrate on we got to win the whole thing, or is it a meshing point there?
It's both and. We want to do things the right way, focusing on the process, focusing on our values. We believe that we can have success with that. And the ultimate goal, of course, is to win the WCHA and the WCHA tournament and the Frozen Four. I mean, that's the national championship. That's the ultimate goal. That's why we're here, in a sense, is to win, right? And there's an expectation from our community, from our team, from our administration that national championships are the goal. We just choose to really try and do it the right way and not focus solely on that, but how are we going to give ourselves the best opportunity to do it?
Yeah, and that pyramid, those pillars also, as you mentioned, part of the whole thing is you're developing young people to be adults, right? I mean,
that's honestly what I'm most proud of as a head coach here, is to see how our players have come through here, had an incredible experience, because I can tell you, that doesn't happen everywhere.
Right.
And so our players are getting a great experience, a wonderful education, competing for championships, sometimes winning championships, sometimes not, but competing for championships. And then you see them go on to be incredible spouses and mothers and daughters and friends and all these different things. And those are what I look back on and say, those national championships were great. Those were certainly wonderful times, and we want to continue to do that. But who they become as people as they come through our program is ultimately what matters to me.
Yeah, the most rewarding part of it, right?
For
to see
sure.
that, no doubt.
Yep.
You've been in the Frozen Four 2 of the last 3 years. I remember it was in Duluth a few years ago. It's overtime, right? Wisconsin. I don't remember even who took the shot. You're an inch from winning it. It
Correct.
just comes off
Yeah.
the I don't remember which side of the net. And then they snipe one, and just like that, that's hockey, right?
Correct.
And I think this past year, Wisconsin, an overwhelming favorite. It looks like they're going to go down
Yep.
in the semis, right?
No,
was
they
that
beat
the-
us in the semis. National
Was
championship
that the
game might have been
championship? Was that where,
against
and then
Ohio State.
Somebody
Yep.
grabbed the puck, and
Yep.
all of a sudden they're going to lose, and then they win. So
Yeah.
it's the margin of error is so tight. There's certainly skill, there's certainly strategy, there's certainly systems, and then you got to have the fortunate bounce.
100%. Yeah, it's athletics, but it seems to be magnified in hockey a little bit just
Yeah.
because you have goalies, and penalties and those types of things. And so, all you can do is put yourself in that position and hope that you play at a really high pace and get a break or two in the end.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's talk about the 2025-26 team. You've gone through some preseason work, but hockey's crazy. Like how many days have you practiced, and now you're already playing a game?
Yeah, I think we're about 12 or 13 practices in,
Yeah.
and we're dropping the puck here. We were fortunate. We had an exhibition game against Bemidji State on Saturday. It was really fun up at the Brainerd Ice Arena there.
Yeah.
We didn't want Bemidji to have to drive all the way down. We didn't want to drive all the way up, so we met in Brainerd and played in their community rink, and it was very successful. We've got just an incredible group this year. 10 new players, 7 of which are freshmen, and 3 are transfers, and they're all going to make some sort of difference in our team and in our lineup, and so we're excited to have them.
3 transfers in. Remind me, I know we've talked about it early when the transfer portal opened. You didn't hit that
Correct,
much.
yeah.
You've hit it a couple times now here the last couple of years. Not that changes philosophy, but you have to find the right mix. Take me through your thoughts on the transfer portal and how you guys want to use it.
Yeah, I kind of, honestly fought it early on because we had recruits committed, and I didn't want to tell them to go find another place to play late in their senior year, and we feel like when we recruit players and their families that they're part of our family, and so I didn't want to kick them to the curb, and so that might have hurt us for a couple years. I've certainly come to realize is that it's not going anywhere, and so you just have to adapt and roll with it. And so if we can improve our team through the transfer portal, we're going to do that. We believe we did that this year with Sarah Paul from transfer from Princeton. She scored 28 goals last year and is somebody that I think could be on the Canadian Olympic team here, and not this Olympics, but the next one. Molly Jordan from Boston College. Kind of funny that her first, she's a defenseman, but her first games here are going to be against her former team, and then Jamie Nelson, a Minnesota player from Minnesota State, who's had a great career down there. So, those 3, you just come in with so much more experience and understanding of how you need to play at this level, and while we have some great freshmen, they're still learning the league, learning what it's like to play in the WCHA, where these other players have that experience. They're older and just a little more mature in their game.
Share what you want on the portal. Do you have to kind of pick? I mean, are you having just players or agents of players and representatives of players just flooding you with, like I'm going to make it up, but 50 players that entered the portal say, I want to be a Gopher, and you have to winnow it down? Or is it not that way? Is it less than that? Or is it, don't talk to us, we'll reach out to you if we see your name? Or how do you handle
certainly
it?
it's we don't really deal with agents, like some other sports. It is starting to creep in, but it's more the second that transfer portal opens, we're scouring it to see if there's some players in there that can make a difference for us. And if we see somebody we like, we'll reach out to them. Sometimes they certainly reach out to us as well. But any top players that go in there, they're going to be hounded by the majority of the top teams in the country, and so then they have to make a decision as to what's best for them. But it's part of college athletics now, and again, if we can improve our team, we're going to try and do that.
How are the freshmen? What do you see from them?
Really like our freshmen. Bella Finale was the captain of the under-18 U.S. under-18 team. She's a tremendous player. She's probably going to start here centering Abby Murphy, and we're not sure who on the wing yet, but obviously that's a big task to all of a sudden be a freshman and coming into the WCHA and playing with Murph. Teresa Plasova is somebody that from the Czech Republic on their national team. She'll be gone for the Olympics, as well as probably four or five others that will be gone for the Olympics come January and February. But we've got some pretty special players, as I mentioned, some great depth up and down our lineup. We've been changing lines in practice every day. For the scrimmage, we change the lines each period, and everybody's got value, and everybody can, again, bring something to our team, and we want them to do that.
Early in this season, including these two games coming up with Boston College, those are obviously designed, one, you want to win them, but designed for you to even learn, in game situations, what you have with some of these newcomers, how they all fit chemistry-wise. What do you have a few check boxes you want to check between now and when the league season starts through these non-conference games? And if so, what kind of things will you be looking for?
Yeah, it's funny because in women's hockey, we only have 6 non-conference games. So we start, and it doesn't always happen this way, but we start with BC this weekend, and then we go to BU next weekend, and then we're into conference play. And I think our conference play is I don't know, Ohio State, Duluth, Wisconsin, St. Cloud, in some sort of order, but all top 10 teams and top 3 teams in the country. But we don't have the luxury, I guess, of bringing teams in that we're just going to roll, and we can try and figure some things out as we go. You need to play teams in our non-conference schedule because there's such little overlap and cross-conference play that you have to bring teams in that are pretty good, and you need to win those games. And so for us, the goal here is to put our best lineup together and to try and win these hockey games, because come February and March, your results against those non-conference opponents comes into play big time when you're trying to figure out the seeding and where teams fit. So I think it's less about checking boxes and more like, okay, everybody, we're diving in here, jumping in with both feet, and we need to be ready to go.
And remind me, 11 teams still, or is it 12?
Yeah, still 11.
I know there had been discussion at times that maybe that could expand, but it's 11. So 11 is not a lot. So you're right. These, if things go the way you want, you won't have to sweat anything out at the end. But you never know. You want to win what you win because they can be valuable.
For sure. And 5 of those 11 are automatic bids, right? They're conference tournament championships, so or champions, and they automatically get into the tournament. And so there's 6 at large after that.
2 more quick questions before we take a break, and then I've got some more general things. Goaltending. Tell us about your goaltending.
Yeah, really excited about our goaltending. Hannah Clark was a freshman last year. She logged the majority of minutes as one of our senior goaltenders last year was hurt, and so Hannah got some great experience. She's was with Canada's development team, or basically under 22 team. This past summer, Layla Hemp is a freshman from Minnesota, was the Ms. goalie in Minnesota from Minnetonka here this past year, and she was one of the U.S. goalies for their development team or under 22 team. So we feel really confident with both of them in nets, and Sophia Johnson as our senior third string goalie is somebody that can play if needed as well.
You mentioned Abby Murphy. I think last year at this time in September when we had this season opening thing, I believe we talked about you thought you might have one more year with her. You weren't sure then what would happen. So good news for the Gophers is now you've got another year with her as we talk
Yeah.
here in 2025. So walk me through all of that and how big it is to have her still on the team.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's kind of the face of our program, and seems to be everybody's favorite player. If you're a Gopher fan,
Yeah.
she's your favorite player to watch, and not necessarily for opposing teams, but certainly for Gopher fans. Murph just brings, she's different. She just brings a level of compete and passion for the game that's different from most everybody else. She's incredibly fast, skilled, and raises the play of others around her. And so we're thrilled to have her back. She could have been the first overall pick in the PWHL draft, but what people don't understand is how fun it is to be in college and play collegiate hockey, and in particular here for the Gophers, and the experience that they have and the fun that they have. So we're thrilled to have her back. I don't think we can get her for another year. I think this will be it.
No more petitioning or
no.
waivers or extra years.
Nope.
Yeah.
So this will be it. But again, an Olympic year for her, and excited to see her represent the red, white, and blue here come February.
No doubt, and hopefully it's a spring to remember for her and all of you guys. Quickly, let me mention one of our sponsors, OnX Hunt. If you've ever driven past a piece of land and wondered who owns that land, or maybe you need to know exactly where a property line runs, well, that's where OnX Hunt comes in. And it's not just for hunters. There are folks using OnX for their jobs every day throughout the country. Farmers and ranchers mapping out their fields, wildland firefighters navigating rough terrain, construction workers needing to know who owns property, when, and where. It's an app that offers something for everyone. If you need the best land ownership map, aerial imagery, and property boundaries in your pocket, it's OnX Hunt. That's the tool for the job. And you can try it for free for 7 days. Download OnX Hunt in the app or Google Play Store, or visit onxmaps.com/hunt to get started. Couple of quickies, and then we'll let you get back to it on this game week for you as we talk here on Wednesday, game Thursday and Friday at Ritter Arena. Gophersports.com for your tickets. Let's get some good crowds here for these opening two. Some new coaches, right? A little bit of some additions. Take us through how that's going.
Yeah, new director of operations, Ryan Carney. He came from Colgate. He's going to be our director of ops, video analytics type guy. Boom May and Mitch Baker this is year 3 for them. They've been tremendous. Jess Scott is going into her 7th year, but we were able to kind of navigate some things and change her title from assistant coach to assistant coach and GM, or GM and assistant coach. The ever-changing landscape of college athletics here, it's important to have somebody in place that can navigate some of those things as far as NIL and rev sharing and those types of things, and Jess is the perfect one for that. So she's in a slightly new position, but has been with us for 7 years. So she's great.
Leads me into what I have next. Women's hockey, I say, under that portal NIL rev share. So what does all of that mean? One, not just for the Gophers, but just women's hockey in general. Now that you've seen some of it, rev share is new, and I don't know where Gopher women's hockey is going to fall in that piece of the pie situation, but I'm going to just set it on a tee and let you go with it here.
Yeah, we are not a rev share sport currently. And so we don't necessarily need to worry about that, but NIL continues to be something that is coming more and more into women's hockey here, and throughout the Big Ten women's hockey teams and beyond, and so whether that's through Dinkytown Athletics or other avenues, it's important that our players continue to find who they are and create a brand for themselves, whether that's on social media or on our hockey team. And I love that there's an opportunity for our players to make additional money. I think that's a great thing. Some of the things, most of the things they set up on their own, and they work with their now agent that really can help them with NIL deals, and that's about it. But it's here. It's kind of like the transfer portal. There's no sense fighting it because it's not going away. And so what can we do to help our players create the brand that they want for themselves.
Is there, from that standpoint with NIL, I would think that this is an opportunity. That there are women's hockey fans out there. There are businesses. We hear about influencers all the time. Well, what better opportunity for a business that wants to support women's hockey or knows a connection of some sort for an opportunity to have influencers that are literally women's hockey players?
For sure. And there's so many that are from Minnesota. There's many that are from different countries. But yeah, there's just great opportunities for them. Just to continue to be who they are. And if businesses are interested in reaching out to them or having our players kind of represent their brand and their businesses, we're all for it.
Coaches get asked this a lot. I don't know if women's hockey coaches get asked much. When Nico Medved got hired, he was asked one of the first questions, how does your NIL compare to others? I always think of pure schools, and so how does your NIL situation compare to others that you're trying to beat?
Yeah, it's unknown. That's the thing about NIL is, I guess, in basketball and football, you're hearing of the starting point guard getting this and the starting quarterback getting that.
Yeah.
And, in women's hockey, it's much more hush-hush. Some programs have really aggressive boosters that want to donate big NIL money, big for women's hockey. And then there's others that are working through their collectives and those types of things. And so, again, if it's a passion for people out there that want to give to Gopher women's hockey and NIL and to our players, then we're all for it.
Generally, with women's hockey, there's 40 plus teams, right? Do you feel it's healthy? I mean, it's such a weird time in sports and the revenue share situation. All of a sudden, budgets get tighter. So I wonder what your theory or thought is on generally women's hockey.
Yeah, I think it's very healthy, actually, and as we look here, there's been a couple more programs that have started up here over in the last couple of years, which has been great. Delaware being the most recent. They're starting, conference play and things like that this year. So I think we're up to 46 or 47. It doesn't seem like they're cutting any women's hockey around the country, which is great. They're only adding, and so I think the sky's the limit here for women's hockey as we continue to go in collegiate hockey.
Professional Women's Hockey League. They stole your last name for the nickname here in town, the Minnesota Frost, two-time champions now. How much, if at all, have you noticed that has changed the complexion of girls and women playing hockey now?
I think the biggest thing that has changed is it's now given younger players, going into high school and, of course, college, the opportunity to continue to play. I can be a pro. And that's really, really exciting. Prior to the PWHL starting, you had the Olympics and that was it. But a lot of players were, if you wanted to continue to play, you were going overseas or you were playing you would have to pay to play. Yeah. And now they're getting paid to play. And obviously here in Minnesota, it's been super exciting to see the Frost win those back-to-back championships and a lot of our former alums on that team. It's an awesome thing for girls and women's hockey, no doubt.
Yeah, and you see some of the crowds that they were able to generate at the Xcel Energy Center. Would you hope that you start to see trickle down, because that's been a fight, right, for a lot of programs, but to get people at the rink is a big deal.
It is, and there's so many other things that can take attention and money away from maybe Gopher athletics, and this is another thing now with the Frost, but it's been great. And you look at their fan base and you look at our fan base, there's a lot of crossover. A lot of their fans are young girls and their hockey teams and their parents and coaches, and that's what it is for us as well. We obviously have our diehards who have been fans for a long time, but anytime we can get young girls in the rink to dream one day of playing for the Minnesota Gophers, it's a big deal.
Well, it's a big deal right now. Late September, the start of the season. We'll catch up with you throughout the year as always. Good luck on the two games with Boston College, and have a great year.
Thanks so much, Mike.
All right, there he is, Brad Frost, head coach, Gopher women. women's hockey. It's episode 189.
My thanks to Gopher head coach Brad Frost for his insightful season preview and what will it take to hang a banner this season for the Maroon and Gold. He's always gracious with his time, and we appreciate him spending time on opening week with us here at the Go Gopher Podcast. Episode 189 is presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. OnX Hunt also sponsors our show. Happy hunting from OnX Maps. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please be sure to click that subscribe button right now to the Go Gopher Podcast. It's free to subscribe and free to listen at any time. And please share the link to the podcast with others so they can subscribe and listen as well. And if you enjoyed the podcast, please let us know with some positive feedback on your social media channels. We'll talk again next week.